Hey, everybody. Welcome back to season two book club, all things business book club review. And season two, and we're in the second chapter today. The book we're covering is 10X is better, 10X is easier than 2X by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Hardy. So here we go. Today in the studio, we've got, I'm so excited about this chapter. There's a lot in this chapter, but right now in the studio, we got this on tap. We got Miss Kathleen Williams in Sacramento. Good evening. How you doing?
Good evening, Mr. Thomas. I am fantastic.
I love your smile today. Thank you so much for joining us on part two here, chapter two as well. Also in Fresno, California, got the great Mr. Harrison Mills. Sir, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Good to have you on the call today. Good. Thank you for being on here.
Thank
and
you.
last and certainly not least, out in Connecticut on the East Coast, we got Miss Jackie Black.
Good evening, Mr. Thomas and everyone.
How you doing? All right. Well, I'm sure everybody got a chance to dive in chapter two, and the title on page 63 is 10X, the quality of everything you do. So, and it said shed the 2X identity and raise the standards, basically. So I'm going to start this chapter off. There's so much in here, and I'm going to, guys, there's a lot in the paragraph. So I'm going to take a few things out of each little paragraph. So we're going to start on page 64 for everybody listening around the world, and hope you guys got your book. And if you haven't subscribed already, go to the website and click subscribe, and message will pop up. Add your email address in, and then click sign up. So we thank you. And if you want to text somebody out there to tell them to get on here and listen, or either that, share this with several people after this call and discuss it. And that way you guys can grow as well. All right. So I'm going to go to page 64. The second paragraph says, trainees or young and most investors prefer an experienced wealth advisor. Well, let me kind of catch everybody up to date. There's a young man named Chad, started at 24 years old, becoming a financial advisor at Merrill Lynch. And there were about 100 trainers in Southern California. And basically he wanted to start from scratch, and they gave him a shot at it. And he was saying here that most trainees were young and most investors preferred an experienced wealth advisor, and who was willing to give, who's going to give a young kid, their money to invest when he's young. So try to be 24 calling a guy 40, 50, 60, or even 70 to invest their money. And I'll read this third paragraph. It says, in his early process, Chad told his managers of some senior advisors at the firm that he would aim at only working with clients that had $100,000 to invest or more. And he kept thinking that was a lot. You guys want to comment on what you got out of that?
It shows his shows his desire to aim high, and it also shows that those that have been there for a while keep either reducing theirs or don't have high expectations for themselves or for the young people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mr. Harrison Mills, you want to comment on that?
Yes, so trainees were young, and most investors prefer an experienced wealth advisor. There's so much more I want to dive into.
Please do.
This is just the beginning or just the skirts of everything. But I agree. I prefer an experienced wealth advisor too. Hey, they know everything already. Why go reinvent the wheel? Why not go to someone that has the experience?
Yeah. That's so true. Miss Jackie Black? That was quick. Yes. I thought you had a little bit more, but that's okay. Jackie Black?
Yes. When someone is young, you don't want them handling your money like that, especially the amount of money that he was interested in working with to invest with, which was $100,000. Said only work with clients with more than $100,000 to invest. We would say, oh, no, not some young kid, could be fresh out of college. You want someone seasoned.
Yeah.
But what Chad had that others didn't have, I don't know if you want me to go there, Mr. Thomas, but he had a focus on standards that he was looking for, as well as determination. A lot of young people don't have that at his age, which was 24 at the time. He knew what he wanted. He knew how to go about it. Many people don't at that age. I'm going to stop there.
No, that's really good, because that's leading to where I'm going. He was like, as my dear friend Les Brown said, he was hungry. And while every guys were going out hanging at the bars after work and drinking at the bars and parties at night and weekend, Chad would put in extra work. And the second paragraph from the bottom says, for his first 6 months, he made hundreds of calls every day and experienced nothing but rejection. He didn't land a single new client, not a one, not a one. But then as you read the next paragraph, 6 months into the training program, Chad received a surprise call from a man Chad had cold called 6 months previous. Now I'm gonna stop here. Ladies and gentlemen out there listening, whether you're network marketing, real estate, or insurance, or just having a business, keep going. And notice that 6 months later, he planted a seed. He finally got something out of it. And it said, ready to retire. The caller had over $600,000 to roll over into a retirement investment account. And this would change him forever because of what he did. He kept going. So I want to encourage you folks out there around the world listening to this, keep going. What do you want to say about that, Ms. Kathleen Williams?
Not only keep going, but it also says that the investor was remembering the positive phone conversations they had and the multiple times that Chad reached out to him. Sometimes all you have to do is many times all you have to do is keep reaching out, and you'll hit him at the right time. And that's what happened here. Yeah,
that is so good. So good, so rich. And he kept going. And I'll let you speak in a second, Mr. Mills, but he said his first client, 600,000, 6 times more than what some managers brought in. Go ahead, Mr. Mills. I know you're itching at a bit to go ahead.
You know I am, right? So to add on to what Ms. Williams says, you sometimes have to tap in at the right time, those people. But the one thing that I love about it is he made hundreds of calls, which means he made a lot of calls. And who's to say it was going to be 6 months? It just happens to be 6 months. It could have been a year or a half or so. Just seeing how, as Miss Black says, his determination. So he was going to continue going, even through the fatigue, even through life happening, through all these things happening. He went through the calls. He went through it, and all of a sudden, boom, here we go.
Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen out there listening around the world, let this be an encouragement to you. Some of you made 10 calls and quit, 30 calls. He did hundreds every day. Just kept going. All right, Miss Jackie Black, go ahead. You can comment now.
All right, now. Many people, when they hear a no, they just get all bent out of shape. He had many no's, many rejections, but he kept going. And multiple follow-up. He didn't just follow up one time. He followed up more than 2, more than 3. I even say more than 5.
Exactly.
And the man, as Catherine said, remembered his positive. When you're speaking with someone on the telephone or in person, you're leaving an impression with them.
Mm-hmm.
And he remembered that. What are people remembering about us when we follow up? Are they remembering the smile, or are they remembering the frown? Or are they picking up on, they really don't care about me? And with Chad having his first client have over $600,000 that he wanted to invest, this boosted his confidence. Each of us would say, whoa, that's more than my minimum standard that I had in mind. And of course, your chest poke out a little bit, feeling real good, and you keep on going. And you're going to do your very best. And what I like it said here is Chad got what he focused on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. The key. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And he developed mastery at the level of his standard and focus. He stayed focused, and he developed the mastery at that level. And it made me think back to the introduction with Michelangelo, how he just kept digging into and staying focused, and that mastery that he had when he made David. And it made me think back upon reading that.
Yeah. One of the things I thought about, he heard a no, and he knows he's been enough no. Eventually, it's on to the next one. On to the next one. No, then on to the next one. And I thought that was so apropos. Also, on the top of page 65, I'll read this, and it says during his confidence got better, and Chad took on plenty of clients. Check this out. Took on plenty of clients, all with more than $100,000 for him to manage. Shortly, second paragraph, shortly after his first year in the program, he raised his minimum standard of $100,000 to $250,000. So he took his standards. Now he was getting all day long clients. He raised it to $250,000. And from that moment on, that's all he wanted was $250,000. And it said down here in a couple sentences later, he said he got what he focused on, exactly what you said, Miss Jackie Black. And I want to, wow, this is powerful. This is powerful. So down at the bottom of the page, he says he wanted to offer more options and solutions beyond Pacific firm, the umbrella that the firm has. So he became so good at it, so focused on what he did. So Ms. Williams, you want to comment?
Yeah, he became so focused that he realized that no matter how long he stayed there, he was not going to be able to keep growing and 10xing himself and getting those 10x clients that he was after. And that he began to realize that he needed to change, because not only was there a ceiling in the company he was with, but all similar companies had ceilings, and he would never get above the ceiling unless he changed.
Yeah.
Outside the company.
There you go. I'm going to go to page 66, Mr. Harrison Mills, and I want you to comment on this. Second paragraph says, when Chad opened up, because he left, opened up Pacific Capital in 2011, he committed, keyword, he committed his focus to working exclusively with high growth entrepreneurs who were millionaires and multimillionaires. He committed to becoming more of a niche, and specifically those who he served and how he helped them. Starting again from scratch, Chad focused on quality, not quantity. Go for it, Mr. Harrison.
Deep, deep. This speaks to me. So I'm going to go that way. First, the word focus. The word focus. I'm saying wow to that. Wow to it. On top of that, not only that, but he raised the ceiling, not out of arrogance, not out of pride, but a posture of saying, I see something, and this is where I'm going to focus. He was relentless about his commitment and his focus. But not only that, this also, once again, I'm speaking to myself, focusing on producing activities. Focusing on producing activities it just is wow. But here's the other thing that lets me know this. I also have that intuition. Yeah. All of us have that same kind of focus. You sometimes walking through a mall or something, but you notice, even today happened to me. I was looking and I felt something, and I knew someone was looking at me, but that someone's intent focus was so focused on me that it bothered me, and to the point where I looked and I was like, and they turned their head real quick. And I know that's happened to a couple of people, So when you feel that intuition, but it shows us that we have that focus that's in us. And what happens if we can channel that into our business, channel that into our family, the different things that we have. So done.
Well, in other words, I'll say this before I get Miss Jackie Black. I'm going to comment on something different. He did less and less and got paid more and more because his focus was on 10xing. And then also it says here, he had clarified his specific, he clarified the Pacific whales and other people, a lot of money he wanted to help, and how he would create 10x value. There's a keyword, value, for them differently from any other financial firm. So he wanted to stand out to go after the folks with the big money and show how he could really help them build their business or make more income. Comment on that, Ms. Brandy. There you go. Miss Jackie Black?
Yes, and see, he was going after the whales, but in going after the whales, he had 20% focus, and 80% he delegated to others to do. And that 20% had him laser focused to do what he needed to do with the standard that he had, and he knows that achieving more does not mean doing more. There's a lot of meat in here, a lot of meat.
Yeah.
And he led by example with what he was doing. And I think of someone that I know with doing the videos, and he focuses specifically and masters different skill sets. And that's how we should be, mastering those skill sets and what we do. And the things that take away from that, give them to someone else to do, because we need that who on our team too. I don't want to go too far ahead, but there's a lot of meat and potatoes in this chapter too.
Oh God, there's a lot. Yeah, gotta find your who's. Miss Kathy Williams. Here's another thing he did. He joined networks of entrepreneurs who were already successful and leveraged the reputation he had built in the industry. So from 2012 to 2017, he went from starting all over again, having 300 plus million in assets under management. And as of the writing, Chad personally managed over $1 billion with very strict focus on 8 and 9 figures entrepreneurs. He 10x'd. He continuously raising the minimum standards, and by elevating himself and his values to the level of his rising standards. So he kept rising the standards up. And I'll say this, I'm gonna let you speak, Ms. Kathleen Williams. In 2021, on bottom of page 66, paragraph 3. In 2021, he rose his minimum standard for new clients from 1 million to 250 million. I'm sorry, 1 million to 250 to $250,000. In 2022, he went up from $250,000 to 500 million. 5 million. And 2023 went from 5 million to 10 million. So look how he's scaling up. And it said on top of page 67, Chad reaches impossible goals by continually eliminating, here's the key, the 80%ers. Ms. Williams?
Now, he not only eliminated his 80%ers, but yes, this book has a lot. This chapter has a whole lot in it. But he networked with the people that he wanted to be his clients. And by identifying, he set a standard that they knew and understood as he went up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And wow, you must have got the next paragraph. That's what it says there. He raised his standards for his clients, and he raised the standards for himself each year to take on fewer clients. Here's the key: fewer clients. You're doing less and less, getting paid more and more, fewer clients, but the value of each client is 10x the average of the former client, which I thought was amazing. He said he knows how to achieve more by doing less. Does less. Okay. Mr. Harrison Mills, what do you got to say about that now?
To me, once again, like I said, branding, that's what it speaks of. He's talking about the value. He's talking about his standard. But the one thing is that as he continues his standard, he has to shed some other parts of himself. So that he can attract what he's looking for. If I'm going to brand myself and say that I am this quality, I am this finesse, then I must have, sometimes there's some people I have to let go of. That's including work, and friends. Sometimes there's books, or people are meant to sometimes be in your life for a season. We've done what we need to do. Thank you. Let's go and keep it moving. Kind of thing. So I love it. It speaks volumes to me on what I'm doing and how I'm branding myself, which I didn't look at it that way. So now it's making me to identify to what am I doing. So
there you go. That's very good. I'm going to go to the last paragraph on page 67 for Miss Jackie Black comment. I love this part because by doing less and less, this is utopia. This is when you got things under control and you got your branding working 100% in your favor, and you 10x. Listen to this. He said on the bottom of page 67 that he used to spend over 200 long hours in the office each year. Watch this. Now he doesn't even have an office, his own office inside Pacific Capitol building. He goes in about 30 days per year to connect with his team, share vision, there you go, and provide any support he can. Miss Jackie Black.
Oh,
That's
yes.
powerful. From
One of the key words, Mr. Thomas, is Chad used to spend. He used to that. He's grown. Personal development, confidence, everything is at a different level now. So he says, I don't have to be in there a long time in the office, but I'm still keeping touch to connect with the team, share the vision. You have to have a vision. Without a vision, the people do what?
Perish.
And he provides any support he can. He's still the man or the woman in charge, but he keeps touch with his team because he's at a 10x. That was his next 10x jump right there.
Yeah,
and
so powerful.
People will see the people saw the change in him too, just like people see the change in us. We used to do X, Y, and Z. Now we're at a different level. Your posture may even be more straight, right, Miss Williams and Mr. Mills?
Amen.
We'll be like Mr. Thomas. We sit, there you go, we sit tall. Different things we pick up and we use. Just like Chad taught his team, we're being taught too. And this book, 10X, is easier than 2X. Yes, indeed. Because it takes more energy. We're going to get there about that energy it takes to 2X. You're spending more time and more time. But remember with that last paragraph, used to. And all of us can say we used to do X, Y, and Z.
Because you're 10X.
Past. That's right, Mr. Thomas.
I'm going to go to page 68. It says higher quality, less quantity. And also said he nearly doubled his business each year while working less. And a lot of business owners, they here's what they do. They don't work on themselves. Let me say this. They're working on the business when they should be working on themselves. As you work on yourself, you do less and less, and the business do more and more. And it said double every year. But he also said here, he said he removed more of himself instead of doing more, which I just spoke of, and continuously letting go of everything that does not meet your 10X filter. Each time you go 10X, the filter gets thinner and finer and finer, letting less pass through it. That's so powerful. And at the bottom of the page, and I'm going to let Miss Kathleen comment on this. He had more time available by removing the 80% of the mantra. So by focusing on the things that were profitable, he cut away a lot of things that were non-profitable. Miss Williams.
And it goes on to say that his clients were doing the same thing. They learned from him by getting rid of that 80%. The 10X filter that would get rid of, that they would grow with him. I need to jump ahead to add to this is as he grew, he had 2X clients that did not like his growth at all. And there will be people in your life, my life, our lives, our business lives that will not like our 10X growth.
Exactly. And on page 69, second paragraph, that's what it's talking about. Anytime someone wants you to remain, ain't that crazy? As you are, they do so far their own self-preservation. So they want to keep you where they want you to be. And it says you got to evolve. You got to evolve and get out of that security. You got to evolve and look for more freedom by seeking it. And those around you will feel uncomfortable because you made the 10X. They don't want to go. And sometimes they'll hold you back. There's clients that'll walk away because you don't have time to hold their hand and babysit them anymore. And you have to let those guys go and keep going to another higher level. And it says, although the 10X process is available to all people who choose freedom over security. Wow, Mr. Mills.
That's wow. Let me just start again. I'm every time we speak, I'm looking at just self-reflection with that. First, let me address Jerry Mosley. Yes, this really is live. On part of that, we ask that you join in with us along with this and get this book. But yes, this is live, and I'm not really one to. I don't like to talk negative about anyone or to judge the position that you're at, that you may be in life, because I was once there myself. So I do my best to kind of just be grateful for you. However, since we're talking about this situation, I look at some people who want you to be stagnant along with until just wait till I get it right and we can all get it right. So you want me to wait, you want me to pause myself so that you can, or you have a way where you feel like maybe families, they feel like they're protecting you because they know better. They think they've seen better. So they're doing their best to protect you, thinking that they're doing this in love. When you're really not doing it, as this is saying, this is doing it as a self-preservation. So,
yeah. Not only that, sir, there's a lot of people that don't want to see other people succeed.
yeah.
And they'll slow you down and they want to be the big dog or the big person in the area. And they're not taking the responsibility they need to have to be lead. And rather than pass the baton, they want to, slow everybody down. I'm going to read this on bottom of page 69. It said, Chad exhibited a quality that only the world's top achievers do: the ability to rapidly accept a new identity. And it's so hard for people to take on a new identity. Like the Bible says, we always want to go back to the same old thing, same vomit, dog return back, go back. And the rest of that paragraph says he let go of being the guy who made hundreds of cold calls a day to let go of being the first in the office and the last to leave. Some people do that. To let go of being being one of the top dogs at one of the biggest financial firms in the world. He let go of needing to always be available. There's another one. And look fancy in his suits. To let go of being the guy who answered his own emails, attending clients' meetings, and even had his own office. He let go of seeing every busyness in status symbol. He let go of trying to please everyone that wasn't in his 20%. He let go. And a lot of people, they micromanage everything in their business and they can't grow it because they micromanage it. Like an attorney or doctors got to micromanage that. No, folks, delegate it. I do more. I say no more than I say yes to things because time is precious. So you 10X by letting go of stuff. And there's still people that are still holding on, let go. What do you have to say, Miss Jackie Black?
That's having that new identity.
Yeah.
And you have to let go and go forward. Because some people, they want to pull you back into that old you. They want you to, how do they have it? Go to all the client meetings and be in your office all the time. They don't want that new you, that new identity where you don't have to be there because you're out, still growing, still helping, and doing 20%.
Thank you. I love on page 70. He talks about what are you most committed to. Number one, what's your standards, your commitment. So I'm going to go over page 71 and go to those a little forward. Number one, commitment. Number two, courage, because it takes courage to change and stick with it when everybody is trying to get you to go back to your old way, stay comfortable, stay safe, in other words, get out of the box. And number three, the capacity to be able to grow. And number four, have the confidence in yourself. With that, Ms. Catherine Williams, you want to comment on all those together or one at a time? Go ahead and go for it.
They all feed into each other and cross feed into each other. And they all start with commitment. If you don't have a commitment to grow, you will stay stagnant. Your business will stay stagnant. And the next thing you know, you'll be out of business.
That's true.
That's becoming more and more apparent in the economy we're in now. More and more businesses are disappearing from the face of the earth. But if you've got the courage to grow, to change, to move, to see what you can do. An example, there is a bakery in one of the local down south of me that because of where it's been located and the problems they're having in that area, as far as crime goes, they've made the decision to change, even though they've been there for like 75 years, to find another location. The owner says, for the protection of my customers and my personnel. That's growth, that's commitment, that's a 10x growth, because this day and age, packing up a whole bakery and moving it to a different location.
It kind of reminds me of that book, Who Moved My Cheese?
Right.
You gotta move, you know.
You gotta move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like it says over here after those 4 comments, says nothing happens until you commit. It pushes you outside of your knowledge and your comfort zone. Hence, it takes courage, the capacity and skill you previously didn't have, which you would not have developed without having fully made the commitment, Mr. Harrison Mills.
Okay, well, I'm going to pull back just a couple of things because it spoke volumes to me.
Uh-huh.
And I'm reading this. This is why it's so good to kind of read again some different passages, and also just as a group with people. But there's something on 69 that you said. He let go of trying, keyword, one word that, you know, we take out of our vocabulary, right? To please anyone that wasn't in his 20%. I am still learning that. Being a people pleaser, I'm still learning that, but I'm going to get it. You know, there's some people you just, once again, you just have to let go. But then the other thing is that the 4 C's, the formula you were talking about: commitment, courage, capability, capability, the confidence part of that. What is he talking about? He's talking about identity. He's talking about identity. These are all things that are evolving our identity in here. And simply put, that he's committed to these things. He's committed. He has courage. He has posture. He has the capability. He knows I have the capability and the confidence to not just change, but transform, as we were talking about. Remember that? It wasn't about working, but it was about transforming into this identity. My first identity is through my faith, my family, then we go with work, you know, with that. But identifying those things with that, and what is it that I need to do personally for self? And one is people pleasing.
Yeah, that's what, you know what, I thank you for your transparency, because I'm sure by you saying that, there's people around the world listening in and they're thinking the same thing, like, God, I got to work on that as well. People pleasing. I'm going to hop over to page 72, Miss Jackie Black, and the top says commitment leads to mastery within your normalized and your standard. And at this level, you have a higher degree of confidence. And I'm going to drop down a little bit further in the second paragraph. It says, with a higher degree of confidence, you now see the attractive, bigger, and better opportunities which previously weren't available to you. Ain't that amazing? Ms. Black, you want to comment on that?
Yes. When you are very confident in yourself, but I can't just leave it at yourself. We have confidence through going through different ups and downs. We have confidence through different 10Xs that we've gone through to get to the point that we are. And when you feel very confident and knowing that you studied, that you've done all to master a particular task, it shows. It shows in the way you speak. It shows in how you conduct business. And it makes people more confident in dealing with you. And with this, I have to go back a little, which says, as you commit to a specific standard far above your current capability and confidence, it pushes you outside your knowledge and comfort zone. Hence, courage. You have more courage. And you let go of the 80%, and it's the new you now.
Yeah.
From the top to the bottom, people will see that difference. Come on now.
Yeah.
And even as I look at everyone here, we all see a difference in each other. And those that are watching, people will see that difference in you too.
Absolutely. I'm going to go to page 82, number 12. We're talking about letting go. Is what you said. Letting go the 80% of your identity, including activities, situation, and people. Miss Harrison Mill talked about sometimes you got to let people go. And I'm going to drop down to the next paragraph. The second sentence says, we fear. Here's the problem. Here's where most people drop the ball on growth. We fear, I'll say it again, we fear and avoid loss far more than we seek gain. Wow. Miss Kathleen Williams.
Most human beings have an aversion to loss.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't, and the thing is, it's the 95% of the population sees loss as fear and fear as freezing, and they can't grow out of it. And as a result, they stay 2x. They never hit 10x. And loss is not a negative. Loss is a positive because it creates growth and development.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Fear, F-E-A-R, false education appearing real, where it's only in our mind. And I would go as far as says 80% of the people worry about never comes true anyway. And they keep worrying, and then something else will pop up, and they go back to worrying again. I'm like, why do you keep worrying about something that never come up? It's crazy to me. And I'm going to go down here a little bit further down on the page, number 13. We talked about it's hard to let go of your current or former identity. That is a problem. And I'm going to read the next sentence. It says, elevate your standards is not easy by any means. It's certainly much, much easier than continuing on the path that just because it's what you always did or what you always do. That's 2x thinking. Let me continue doing what I know that works. Let me continue going. And the next paragraph sentence says, to go 10x, you live based on freedom. It's not worry about other people's opinions. Wow, Mr. Harrison Mills. I don't know why I said we can't hear you. No. Did you lose your voice?
How about now?
Yeah.
Now, you see that? Did you see that little thing? That was from our last book. Well, anyway, I was going to say this is that letting go of my farmer identity has never been a problem for me. I can shake that joker in a minute. That's not a bit of a problem, especially if you tell me there's something else that's more. And we were talking about fear. We fear and avoid loss for more than we seek gain, which I look at this is that we look for scarcity more than we look for abundance, And if I focus on the abundance part, the scarcity and the fear will take care of itself. If you look forward for the abundance part of everything like that, that is where the freedom is. I believe in abundance, there is freedom. And I believe that's what he's talking about. When he says 10X, I'm going to encourage myself to look at that as abundant, because that sounds to me, it gives me life. I can look at that more than the 10X. I don't need the 10X, but abundance, you give me that, fill my cup. I'm ready.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I love it. On page 73, it talks about, the flexibility by evolving. Listen to me. Evolving your identity, letting go of things that once made up your core components of who you are or were. And a lot of people have a problem giving up that to evolve from who they were to go where they want to go, even though they know they need to. And I'll go down halfway down the page. It says you commit to the standards you want, even when it's uncomfortable for a brief time. And most people, we live in a world, I gotta be comfortable. I'm comfortable. It's like, comfortable, why? Comfortable. I mean, comfortable to me means uncomfortable. I mean, what's comfortable, And I'm gonna read this last part at the bottom of page 73 before I let Miss Jackie Black comment on this. It says, the subconscious will allow us to have only what we believe we deserve. You talked about that, Mr. Mills. If we have a small view of ourselves, which most people do, then what we deserve is poverty. And our subconscious will see it that we have it exactly what we focus in on. Wow, Miss Jackie Black, I know you ready. You almost flipped your chair over there to get on this one.
Yes. This part about being uncomfortable. When you're becoming that new you, it is uncomfortable because you may not be used to reading a lot. You may not be used to the new friends you have. You may not be used to, okay, I have to get up a little bit more early to get more done in the day. Some things are knocking on my door as I evolve into that new person. Do I want to tell on myself? Yes. We have to be transparent. I keep saying, oh, I'm not a morning person. Those that know me know I say that. And I have to work on Jackie and say, stop saying that. Because if you keep saying it, you keep believing it.
Oh,
Change it to, I am becoming a morning person.
there you go. Change that mindset.
There you go, Mr. Thomas. It's the mindset. And if you keep thinking, oh, I'm not this or I'm not that, you're going to stay there, just as we've been reading about. But it gets uncomfortable when you start getting up earlier, when you start doing things that's propelling you forward, that new self.
Stretching yourself.
And that's it. You're stretching, like the rubber band example. You stretch it. When you let go, it doesn't return to the same.
Yeah.
It's more stretched out. And that's how we are. We're becoming stretched, each of us. We're becoming stretched. And it's showing to ourselves, to that unconscious. I was thinking of Napoleon Hill. I was thinking of Outwitting the Devil. I was thinking of Think and Grow Rich. Some things are pertaining here as well. Different things that were in those books. And I'm going to stop because I could be funny.
All right. Thank you, dear. Thank you. That was good stuff there. I'm going to go to the top of page 74, the second paragraph. And he's talking about he raised his speaking fee. It says, if you're a professional speaker and your current speaking fee is $25,000, raise your minimum fee to $50,000 and see what happens. You know, on our private channel, we do a fee for just $6.99. Guess what we're going to do shortly? We're going to raise it to $25 on the private channel. But here again, it's because the knowledge is well worth more than what we charge. And as a speaker, it's amazing. You'd be surprised what happens. And before you comment, Miss Catherine Williams, the last paragraph up, it says, what on page 74, what about you? The sentence right before that says, how you do anything is how you do what?
Everything. And that is so true. You can see it in people. If I've seen it in myself, like Miss Black said, if you think you're not a morning person, you're not a morning person. But if you decide to become a morning person, you can become a morning person. If you hate reading, but you pick up a book and read it, and 10x is easier than 2x. Maybe it's not the book for you today, but there are other books out there. Pick it up and read it. Read it with the audio with it, and it's even more comprehensible.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep raising your standard to get where you want to be. And by raising your standard, you're going to lose some things. Because yes, you take your speaking fee from $25,000 to $50,000, you may only get one speaking engagement, but you've made more money and done less work. And that will translate over time to increases throughout your life.
Exactly. I totally agree. I'm going to go to page 75, Mr. Harrison Mills. And it says number 2016 on our list here, by focusing on quality over quantity. But what I want to go to is right underneath. It says setting unreachable goals and 10x in the quality of what you do. I'm going to read the first paragraph. 99% of people in the world are convinced convinced they are incapable of achieving great things, so they aim for mediocrity. Mr. Mills, I know that's a good one for you to go ahead, sir.
Deep. Well, it kind of went over a little bit of what you and Miss Jackie were kind of speaking about, which and I underlined in my book on 73. Ding, ding, ding. Like that was it, you know. And it was the unconscious will allow us to have only what we believe we deserve. That's where the mediocrity. You convinced yourself already. Unconsciously, you have. But just a little bit above that, it says on just how to break that. Elevating your identity and standards is primarily emotional and thus qualitative, which is why psychologically flexibility is so crucial to 10xing. And now I'm going to just say this for guys, you know, they're not really emotional. Most guys are not really emotional creatures. But if you look at it this way, there are 5 senses that you have that emotionally you can tap into: your senses, your song, the way you see things, the way you view things. All those are our emotions. It's not meaning you have to wake up and crying and have to, you know, that's not something you tap into. But emotionally, those things that you view. How do you emotionally see yourself? The things that you touch, the things that your places you put yourself. I like this. Once again, I get a chance every now and again. I'm privileged to get a glimpse in Mr. Al Thomas's life every now and again when he comes out here, right? Once again, I say, when this man lives, he lives. But I get to emotionally sit by him and watch him, even just for his birthday, and just watch how he celebrated himself. Even if I wasn't in the room, this man was going to celebrate himself, and he so definitely deserved it. But just to watch the quality of life, this is what I deserve. This is what's going to happen. And I just said, I was wowed. I was wowed by it. But not only that, but it 10x me to say, I need to focus on myself, get myself out of the mediocrity, get myself out of that, and start transforming.
I like that. Transforming. I like that. All right. On page 78, number 17, to go 10x bigger, you focus on getting 10x better. And there's a whole couple paragraphs there, but I'm going to skip down here to like the second paragraph on the bottom. It says, if your goals is small, such as 2x, then your efforts will almost be wasted. You're not being stretched. Like Jackie Black talked about, the rubber bands. You got to stretch yourself. And a couple sentences down, it says, you're just deepening your habitual groove, which does not mean you're actually getting better. So in other words, do the same thing we do every day, drive the same route, do the same thing day in, day out. I tell people all day long, some people get in their car, go to work, and because they're so grooved in that groove, they'll remember get on the freeway, make that left turn, the right turn, and park in their car. I'm already at work, because they're in a groove. Their car know how to get to work within a minute. So with that said, it's the last thing on the bottom of the page, it's not effort that matters, but where that effort is directed. And the top of the next page said, whatever you focus on, here again, you commit to, you become the master of it. Jackie Black.
That is so true. It's not effort that matters. You could sit all day, Mr. Thomas, and I say just keep typing on the typewriter. Keep type. Say I'm writing a book. I'm just keep typing. Is it really getting it done? Is that effort being directed in the most proficient way it could be? Because I could sit there and say, I'm getting it done, but I'm not really. I'm going through the motion of it. Yeah. When I start focusing on what I'm doing and committing to it, that all or nothing mentality, I'll become the master of it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, dear. That's great. On page 81, Miss Catherine Williams, I think it's 19 here. It says, we are trying to do one thing at a level that never been seen before. And this is called pushing ourselves. And go down about right there on that next paragraph. It says, if you were trying to make 10 million rather than solve 100 problems at 100,000 each, it's much easier attempting to solve a single 30 million problem. Wow. So true. And the last paragraph, this whole thing is juicy. The last paragraph on the page at the bottom, it's easy to find one person to pay $1 million to find 10 people who can pay $100,000. It's exponential easier to find one person to pay the $1 million to find 100 people to pay $10,000. Isn't that true? That's 10x. That's doing less with more. Captain Miss Williams?
It is definitely doing less with more, doing and getting more for doing less. I think of many of I happen to listen to a religious radio station frequently, and I listen to their fundraisers, and I sit there and sometimes think, I used to listen to them aim for higher than they're aiming now, and I just wonder what's going on. But I've seen people that go out and want to build something, and they manage to get the funds they need when everybody said, you'll never get that money. And they come up with it and build something that just blows everybody away. And at the same time, they continue to grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's all up here.
Exactly. It's all up there. It goes back to what we talked about. Let me go back in the book here. Those 4 C's we just left: commitment, courage, capacity, and confidence. They started with confidence because without confidence, nothing comes. And you got to be committed to it. Thank you. That was powerful. Miss Harrison Mills, I'm going to go over here to page 87, and this 20 is in our book here that we wrote over notes. Rather than making, same name as Williams, rather than making fast food, you'll shift to fine dining, which requires much higher degree of mastery and focus. As you laugh. Go ahead, sir.
I laugh because okay, so as much as I hang around Mr. Thomas, he hangs around me, and every now and again he'll just say, he'll look at me, "Ooh, Harrison, you bougie." It's meaning this. He knows I don't just deal with just simple things. I like fine things.
He does.
I like fine things. I'm proud to say it. I have no problem saying that.
If you ever ride with him, check his trunk out. He got new shoes every week in there.
That's not true. That's not true. I've been doing better. I'll put it that way. But I guess the thing is with the whole thing, I like fine things with that, but I like to also create that same thing. And I think that even with saying less is more, by looking for the finer things, you'll be surprised how many of those things will just come to you. There's probably more finer things in your life than there are fast food or those things. But it's so easy for us to focus our attention there, our touch, and what our atmosphere we're used to. There's a sentence that was said. We moved to 87, page 87. We're going to go back to 80 just really quick. And in the middle of that paragraph, this kind of sums it up. Everything we do as people is driven by our goals or standards. Everything we do as people is driven by our goals or our standards. And so that's what that puts on me. And I'm saying this, even with my stretching of my goals and my standards, it's going to be a filet mignon. It's going to be that, even if I have it once a year, know that and that's what I'm going to continue striving for.
I like that. Everything we do as people is driven by our goals, standard, and our standards. We become whatever we strive for. Your goal shapes your process, and your goal also shapes your personal development and evolution, which is so true. I thank you for saying that, Mr. Filet Mignon. Now, our last one, we're going to go page 93. We're going to wrap it up on page 93. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I got one more before that. Or do I? No, we're going to go to page 93 at the top. And I tell people to put their name in this. Folks around the world, as I read this, put your name there. Okay, here we go. The longer you hold on to the 80% out of fear, the slower your 10x transformation will occur. The faster you let go of the 80% out of commitment and courage, the faster your 10x transformation will occur. Every great leader must face the dilemma of quitting the wrong stuff, even the wrong stuff that has been your bread and butter for years and decades. To become the best, I'll say it again, to become the best at what you do and realize 10x results. Oh my God. This is the last one. So Miss Jackie Black,
Ooh-wee.
that was
boy.
steak right there. That was flay steak right there.
Yes, that's that filet mignon
Where's my knife and fork?
in the drawer, sir. Looking at this, it comes to mind becoming the best version of yourself. Get rid of that wrong stuff. Focus. And it may have been, as I said, your bread and butter. You may have been one that, are you singing? There are those that can sing like a bird. Then there are those that sing in the middle. And then there are those that you say, please don't sing. But as you progress, you may have started out your bread and butter being that middle singer, sounding good, people clapping for you, go ahead. But as you're perfecting your skill, you're getting rid of the wrong stuff. You're getting rid of hitting those wrong notes. You're practicing, and you become that eloquent singer, that singer that can go up and down the scales, that people want to hear, that people may increase the dollars amount to come see you, because they know that, gee, I remember when, and look at him or her now. And you feel that confidence in yourself as that leader saying, I'm not going to sing for y'all.
Okay.
I'm not, because that would let the kitty cat out the bag. But that's an example that comes to mind when I see that. You've evolved into that best version of yourself, but still going higher.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you. Going higher. Become that best version, and practice makes better. I love that. Thank you so much. Wow. That was a lot in that. Miss Kathleen Williams.
This was a loaded chapter. I thought the first chapter was loaded. This one is just as loaded. And it pulls, what I pulled out of it more and more is getting rid of that 80% is what's going to help you, your business, no matter what kind of business it is, to grow. But it'll help you grow as a person. And as you grow as a person, the people around you will only have to change, because they are the people that got you to where you're at now are not going to be the people that get you to your next level, or your level after that, or your level after that. And there's been multiple examples in this book so far of entrepreneurs realizing that as they pulled away from their companies, in the sense that they were doing less and less, the more the company progressed and the more the company grew. And the employees grew as well. As long as the leader sets the example and keeps raising a standard, so will the employees raise their standard.
Very good. Thank you so much. That's great. Very good. Mr. Harrison Mills.
Man.
Are you tooting your own horn over there, sir?
No, I'm not. Was that me? But if so, I would just say beep beep with it. You know, I'll say that beep beep. But hey, every great leader, do I see myself as a great leader? Do I as a visionary? Do I imagine? Do I see myself as a great leader? And if I do see myself as a great leader, face the dilemma of quitting the wrong stuff. Everyone faces the dilemma of quitting the wrong stuff, even the stuff that's been your bread and butter for years or decades. And all it's saying to me is That's not easy. It is. That's not easy. It's going to be hard stuff. It is going to be uncomfortable. But then at the same time, do I want it to be easy? Would I want it to be easy? And I say, because if it was easy, everyone would do it. Everyone would do it. But then second, you don't have a story. I get there. It's not about me making it there. Someone needs to have you. You need to be that great leader, so that you can actually mentor another great leader. But you can't do it until you get there. You have to get there. So why are you stopping? If you are that servant leader, get there so that you can mentor someone else that needs to take your place.
Wow.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Find your replacement, I call it. Find your replacement. Find a couple replacements. I love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining tonight around the world and listening in. If you guys got the book out there, that's 10X Better Than 2X. I want all our listeners out there around the world, go to page 95. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 7 little cute chapter highlights and takeaways. Go and read the chapter yourself. You're going to get something different than we got out. But here again, we want you to grow from this book. We'll be back next Monday, same time. But in the meantime, I want to say thank you for joining us. And if you're haven't subscribed, go subscribe or go to the website, click subscribe, and there's a pop-up message. Put your email in there, hit click and sign up. We appreciate it to keep you posted of what's coming up. We'll be back next Monday night, same time for chapter 2 now in the book. Okay, and we'll want to thank today Miss Kathleen Williams in Sacramento. Thank you so much for joining us. Harrison Mill in Fresno and Jackie Black in Connecticut. Thank you for joining us in all things business book review of 10X is Better Than 2X. And if you haven't gotten it, there might be a link below to go get it. We want to thank you so much for joining us, and get the book and come join us next week. And let's talk about it, what you got out of it. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a wonderful